All right. Hello. I hope you can all hear me. I can see myself now on the screen, which is very interesting. My name is Tina Lorenz, and I am working at the ZKM in Karlsruhe, which is the Center for Art and Media. It is a rather old media art institution. It has a 30-year-old history. And my department is the Hertzlab. The Hertzlab is the Department for Artistic Research and Development. And I would like to talk to you today about art and technology and how we can explore new relationships in a changing world. But before we look into the future, I would like to bring you something that happened at ZKM in the years 2020 to 2022. Which is a large exhibition called Critical Zones. Critical Zones was curated by Bruno Latour, a French philosopher, and he made this exhibition because it was founded on the idea that Earth is a map, a network of critical zones. And critical zones means that this is the zone where life is possible. It is just a few meters, kilometers thick, and only there life is possible, and all life. And beyond that, there can be no life. And what he wrote was, when science announced that the Earth revolved around the sun, think about Galileo Galilei, this was experienced as an attack on the entire fabric of society. And he said today, 4 centuries later, science is once again turning the role and the position of Earth upside down. It looks as if humanity's behavior is forcing the planet to react in unforeseen ways. And once again, the social fabric as a whole is shaken. And as the cosmic order is shaken, so too is the political order. This crisis in the cosmic and social contexts is causing people to become disoriented. Those who recently relied on the promises of globalization and unlimited growth now suddenly realize that there is no Earth that can be reconciled with the promises of globalization. Now, the glaring discrepancy between the horizon of the globe and the reality of planet Earth is coming to light. Many of us feel confused, left behind, and trapped. And in the face of this astonishing discovery, he goes on to say, modern man suddenly realizes that mankind has never been sure and clear about its habitat and its population. The current crisis, and here he is talking about climate crisis, has its origins in the gradual realization of modern man that he can no longer rely on this huge, almost inexhaustible reserves of colonies of coal and oil and gas and mining as a guarantor of this future prosperity. Modernization, development, and globalization seem like a happy and undeserved interlude that is now coming to an end. And he goes on to invent a fictional idea of planets. He has this very interesting essay that is accompanying the exhibition of Critical Zones. And he says, let's invent planets. Let's invent a planetarium to explain what this means, what Critical Zones, the exhibition, and the thought experiment means. And he says there are planets called globalization, Anthropocene, security, and modernity. And he says the globalization planet for him is this vague idea that you are belonging to a territory that is most of the time invisible. And it's a way of being misled for him, because he says that your wealth or your misery comes from places that are invisible in the administrative map of your own head. So you live in a globalized world, but most of it for you is invisible. And this is something that he says we need to overcome. Community, yes, but globalization is for him a very difficult concept. He also defined a planet called Exit, which is for him the place where the elites are and they want to go to Mars. He talks about Elon Musk and his plan to just colonize Mars and leave planet Earth to the people to deal with all the problems. And he says people who are wealthy, who are powerful, they are just leaving. And for him, this is the planet he calls Exit. And there is also a planet called Security. And he says there are big migration movements now because everybody is looking for the security. They are looking to escape climate change disasters, weather events. And this is a movement that is disrupting Earth as a whole. And he also defines one planet that is called Modernity, which is for him the whole movement from industrialization to techno-optimism. We talked, the speakers before me talked about how we need to come from post-human to beyond human, to include non-human actors in it as well. But there's also this notion of transhumanism, which is very techno-optimist. It's technology will save us no matter what. And this is for Bruno Latour is also a very difficult concept. But this planetarium that he described is for him an invitation to think about Earth as a whole, as a larger system. I just brought you one of the pieces that we had in the exhibition, which is a mixed media installation, which shows kind of this scope that we have. Climate change is so big. It is a hyper object. Timothy Morton wrote a theory of hyper objects, which says you can imagine this like an iceberg. You can see only the top of the iceberg, but much of it is hidden beyond the surface. And he said that there are objects that are so massively distributed in space and time that you cannot possibly gauge the whole dimension of this object. And climate change is such an object. It is rather difficult to really grasp the dimension of what is going on in our lifetime. And so thinking about a distributed network of zones where we can live, humans and other non-human actors together, this is a really important paradigm shift. It's an important shift of perspective to realize what is going on and take action accordingly. And at ZKM, we try to tackle this through a lot of different approaches. We have exhibitions like Critical Zones. We have a department of scientific research. We are conducting seminars and symposium for knowledge transfer in this direction. We also are part of the Green Culture Climate Project, which measures all our carbon emissions. This is why I'm so happy to be here digitally today, that technology allows me to present, although I am sitting at home at 6:52 in the morning in Germany. So this is something that technology affords us to do and media affords us to do. And what the Hertzlab is doing, the artistic research department, is we are trying to find out how AI, which is also a disruptive technology and non-human actor, how we can make this sustainable in more than one way. For us, there are more than one way of sustainability. There is ecological sustainability, which is how much emissions does technology make? What kind of energy consumption does it have? What kind of water consumption does it have? And this is extremely true for AI usage, because when you use the big AI models that are housed in large data centers, they use a lot of water to cool it, they use a lot of energy, and it's out of your control. If you use, for example, ChatGPT by OpenAI, you don't know what kind of energy it consumes. This is not public data. It will consume a lot of water and a lot of energy. We know that, but we cannot really control it, out of our control. And this is the reason we work with small models. The AI that we use at ZKM is locally installed. It runs on servers in our institution. And this is important because we control what kind of energy goes in. We have a clean energy provider. Much of our energy comes from renewable sources. And we can control the energy input that goes into AI usage. Also, we can control its water consumption. Small models don't have to be cooled by a lot of water. They can just run in your data center, your local data center. There's also another approach of sustainability. This picture I like very much. This is not one of our exhibitions. I went to the Ars Electronica in Linz, and they had this one there. It's sustainable design of PCB. So it's a chip design, and they made it out of locally produced clay, urban mined silver, and wood. And it's working. And the artists invited the onlookers to reflect on what locally sourced materials would mean for chip design, for technology, for whatever we have in our smartphones and our computers. And it's really a unique approach to think about what materials and what are we doing to the earth in order to have the technology that we are using now. I recently read an article about Oracle, who is now investing very much into AI data centers, and they are building new nuclear reactors to power their data centers. And this, for me personally, is a step in a very backwards direction. In Germany, we have said goodbye to nuclear power, and we are trying to shift our power consumption from nuclear to renewable sources. And this for us is a big shift. It has been a hugely politically debated decision to make. And when the boss of Oracle says we are building new nuclear reactors to power this kind of technologically development, in Germany, this sounds rather backwards thinking. But it is a difficult decision. But it is possible to make AI sustainable, and not only ecologically sustainable, but also in a different kind of sustainability discourse. At Hertzlab, at ZKM, we try to really only use open source projects, meaning that all the source code is open, and all the results of our research will be open to the public, can be used by a lot of people after we publish it. And this for us is very important, because using knowledge for us is also a dimension of sustainability, and open source and open access are also dimensions of sustainability, because they afford us to see where can we do this for the common good. And using AI for the common good is a goal that we have, and that we are trying to approach artistically, and also in all of our other departments. And so in our exhibitions, we use open source technology, we use open source AI models, And we really try to also do a knowledge transfer. So a lot of people know that they don't have to rely on models that they cannot control. And this concludes my my presentation. Thank you again for being here. I hope I wasn't too quick for the interpreters. I tried to speak really slowly. Thank you very much.